Our first gear setup. In this video, we're going to show you how to set up a pocket strobe light stand, or what we affectionately refer to as the shtick. Oftentimes on shoots, I'll tell my assistant, hey, I need 2 sticks set up, and this is the exact setup that we're going to be talking about. Now, we're going to do 2 setups. We're going to do 1 manual stick setup and 1 full feature stick setup, just so you can see the differences and see how much more simple one is than the other. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. That was a very high-pitched sound that I just made there with my mouth. So we're going to grab our standard umbrella bracket. We're going to pop it right onto our Manfrotto. Did I say Manfrotto? Manfrotto Nano stand. And we are ready to put our flash on here. Okay, so just make sure that everything is tight as you guys go. I'm going to grab the LumiPro LP180. This guy is indeed my favorite manual strobe. So if you're looking for a great manual strobe that you can buy new, look no further than this guy. Comes with like a really funny box too. Has funny wording on it. Okay, I'm going to put this on here and just tighten this up, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock it in place as well. Again, at this point, if you are a lighting assistant or a photographer, make sure that everything is secure, of course, and it falls into water, and then I go, gah! You must tighten the screws before you start moving things around. So just give it a little safety check at this point, make sure everything's good. Now what we're gonna do is grab our Schmucket Wizard. Okay, this is our Pocket Wizard Plus 3. It has a Hildesine bracket on the back. It's like a $15, $20 bracket you guys can pick up on Amazon that gives it this little mount, and you can now place it around a rod. Now here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna show you how to do it the wrong way first. So what I'm gonna do, and I love the fact that the LumiPro has a 3.5mm sync port. It doesn't, you know, it has PC Sync too, but anytime I can avoid using PC Sync, I do. I hate PC Sync. Okay, got my Pocket Wizard Plus 3 on my hot shoe. I'm gonna power this guy on, make sure my camera's on, and of course, the thing there, transmit and receive, or to receive only, either way. I'm gonna set it to receive only, because I don't need it to send another signal out, I just need it to receive. Now, when we fire, setup is in relation to this setup. On this setup, if I want to make an adjustment to the power, I'm going to take it up to, it's currently on 1/16 power, I'm going to take it up to full power, okay? I've done that now just directly from my remote, and now it's firing at full power. Whereas on this guy, any adjustments that I make, I have to go and walk over to the flash and do that. Now, that might not be a big deal when the flash is close to you and when you're working in the studio and so forth, but when you have this placed inside of a softbox, it's much, much more convenient to control everything from the back of your Odin or from the back of the another Mitros, rather than having to have an assistant reach into the softbox, make adjustments, and go, you know, from there. So we're talking about 2 flashes that really do the exact same thing, but we're talking about more convenience on one side. And that's generally, just as a rule of thumb, paying more for something, buying better gear, buying more professional gear, doesn't necessarily make your images that much better. What it does is it makes your life that much easier, okay? So it makes doing the same thing a lot easier. So just keep that in mind. So here we have our 2 standard stick setups. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Let's go ahead and move to the next gear setup.